Greetings to everyone. Welcome to ASBM Lead Talks and the ASBM CEO Meet 2022, organized by Adithya School of Business Management. It is a wonderful day, and I welcome our honorable chief guest, Mr. Balaji Paramasivam, sir, the senior manager of the Ernst and the Young Global Limited, and our respected chairman, Engineer Sugmaran, sir, and our managing trustee, Mr. Praveen Kumar, sir, and our dynamic professor, Dr. Yan Sundrabandian, sir. It is super excited to have you all here, and I'm excited about all the amazing conversation that we are going to do today. Start with the profile read by Adithya.
Greetings to all. It's a moment of extreme pleasure to welcome the guests who present here to attend our journey to the CCU ASBM CEO Meet 2022. On behalf of our ASBM, I convey my regards to our energetic young chief guest of the day, Mr. Balaji Paramasivam, Senior Manager of Ernst and Young Global Limited, EOE, United States. Technology transformation, digital strategy, transformation program, and engagement management process improvement of EOE Global Limited. IT leader with 17 plus years of experience in delivering efficient IT solution and redefining clients' engagement with customers, focus self-driven and highly motivated financial services leader with impeccable track record of successfully delivering medium to large multi-year technology transformation programs. 6 years experienced project lead, 8 years experienced technical lead, 2 years experienced senior consultant, and 9 years experience as a senior manager. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and coming over here to support us to journey to the CSU ASBM program. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so thank you so much, all of you, for organizing such a wonderful event. My heartfelt welcome to Balaji Paramasivam, the technology and strategy transformation leader, financial services of E&Y Global Limited, Chicago, United States of America, having more than 17 years of experience and got educated in US from the Western Governors University as MS Information Technology, and also is a certified project management professional. And also earlier, Balaji was working with the Gemini and Sistel and leading other companies as well. It's a great honor for Adithya School of Business Management having such a wonderful personality here today for this journey to CSOT. We started this project like 2-3 weeks before with Tesco CEO, Smith Mitra, and it was a great occasion talking to the senior most people. And we had a lot of people around the world from Chicago and from the legendary companies like Nestle and so on. It's another great event today, having Mr. Balaji here with us, and who is technology leader, Chief Information Officer, technology leader from the financial services company. Totally different kind of background. So far, what we have seen is what the guest profile today. And we, Adithya School of Business Management, Engineer Sugumaran sir, the most respected chairman, was started this business as Adithya Institute of Technology. After that, we extended with our Master of Business Administration under the School of Business Management. And we also now established our health science as well as into Arts and Science College. And also we have our global school, metric school, and so on. Extended kind of education our chairman wanted to provide to the community around this region, especially people from middle class and lower middle class are around that particular like farming families and so on. It's very hard for them to get that high-end qualifications. So this institution, our institution, enables and provides such services to those people to come up well in life with affordable fee and world-class infrastructure, like reaching this kind of experienced faculty members and so on. That is the motto. And he wants to make more and more entrepreneurs for India and to make viable India. That's also another motto of our chairman. So having industrial background So having businesses like 7, 8 diversified businesses, this is a kind of service he wants to do it for the community. So that's a little about our background and why we exist here, and the purpose of having this discussion, having the exposure, global exposure for our MBA students, which can make them better global leader of tomorrow, right? So they are all first year students who are assembled here, Balaji, having like 3-4 months with us, and they have got a lot of experience talking to entrepreneurs, talking to CEOs. Besides their practical, besides their, Madhumita, I think, can you mute, please? Besides like regular classes, they have a lot of practical exposure comes along.
Mhm.
So this is one such event. We wanted to have it with you, Balaji, and thank you very much for your valuable time, your efforts, wanted to reach out us and accepting our invitation. Not everyone is willing to do that, and you are such a gem and a genuine personality with us, with having so much experience, and you wanted to give your valuable time, maybe 1 hour or half an hour, whatever it is. That's a great contribution for us, for Adithya School of Business Management. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation and joining today, Ms. Balaji. Yeah, and could you please start sharing little about yourself, and and from there we can start having some questions and discussions further. We can go in a informal and a small way, and we can pick up, and you could share for these budding people, budding managers, budding business people to learn from you, from your own experience, and how you started your career, how you reach the heights to reach this global business organizations and reaching higher positions, qualifying, continuous learning. All those things will be a great support for us. Balaji, it's over to you now, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. First of all, I want to thank you and the students who reached out to me, for giving me an opportunity. Because the reason why I'm calling out the students is back in my days, I started reaching out to firms and companies when I was in my 4th year of engineering. I never thought about such a thing, when I was in my first year or even in my second year. So kudos to the management, to giving that insight to the students, to establish this networking and these relationships. Right, these things can go deeper and further. The second thing is, as I told before, so I have had an opportunity to talk to a lot of students here. So I regularly go to OSU, which is an Ohio State University, one of the famous universities, and Michigan University and Illinois University, to represent my firm. I talk to people from a lot of ethnicities, basically. Mostly you will see a lot of students from India studying here, people from Africa, people from China, and the local US students. I have shared whatever that I know, so little knowledge that I have, and also have told them what they can focus on. So now I'm really interested, and I'm happy that I get to talk to students who are very close to my home, and I can provide some inputs that I know of whatever I have learned over these years. So to start myself, so I'm from Udmalpet, which is again a sleepy town, 80 kilometers from Coimbatore. So I did my education in Coimbatore, and I went to Chennai for job. So again, most of the kids back in the days, I had never gone out of my hometown, and probably Coimbatore was the biggest city that I ever visited. So a local village boy, I went to Madras or Chennai for job. So within a year, my company deputed me to United States. So mostly it's on performance, and I got my visa back in 2006. Went there, started in Chicago in a company, an insurance firm called CNA Insurance. You can look it up by if you look at the Chicago skyline, you would see a red building. So that's where Chicago used to be. Then after 7 or 8 years, I moved to Capgemini. Stayed with them for 2 years, and then I joined Ernst. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Ernst, but I will give you a brief about my firm. So in USA and also in around the world, you would hear a term called Big Four. So big four firms, meaning that they employ millions of people, right? So basically, all the big firms are the one that you would know automatically is Deloitte, KPMG, Ernst and Young, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. It's called as PwC. So mostly the firm that I deal with always, they are known for auditing work from 1800s. It was founded in UK, and then they have their branch all over the world. Now I believe they have their branch in every major city in India. And then the next thing is, the one thing that you can relate is the recently, that Air India was sold to Tata Group of companies. So our company was the audit representative companies. They made sure that the deal was following Indian laws and the handover was proper. It was a successful project that our Indian firm has done. So where I fit in is in the early 2000s, Ernst and Young wanted to get into the consulting side of the business. So see, there is IT work and there is consulting work. So the one that most of you would have heard about, or at least your family members would have done, is companies like Tata Consultancy Services or Wipro or Cognizant, right? They hire people, they put in IT projects where they get to develop applications using software or maintain applications using software. So where we come in is we are management consultants. So we travel to the client location 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. So that this is what commonly called as management consultants or management consulting in the United States. So we go to the client, we do strategy. See, basically what we do is we analyze their current systems to say, if that needs modernization or not. We spend like at least 2 to 3 months, depending on the size of the client. So the size of the client I'm talking about is something that you would have never even heard, because they make revenue in $1 billion. It's very large money. Meaning, why I called out that number is to give you a perspective of how big that those clients are and how complex their applications are. So in India has to go a long way in terms of where the software applications are, and what they can do. I know that India is catching up, but US is, again, as a developed nation, they are at a far more advanced state. And you would not believe how many Indians work in the background to make those applications work. So I fall in that category, where I go to the client, do strategy work to understand if their systems need modernization. If their systems needs modernization, we would give them options, right? What kind of technology solution would suit their businesses to begin with, and how soon they can do it. How can they do it in a very cost efficient way, and what is that can take them to the next level. So these are all the kind of work that I do on a day-to-day basis. So I am a director. So I have a large team working for me in the United States and also in India. So I have a team sitting out of Chennai offices. I have a team working from Mumbai offices, Pune and Gurgaon. So we have these, we call it as Global Development Centers, GDS. We have people there, young folks like you. As soon as you finish your college, they join our firm through some technical interviews. They come to our firm and they start contributing and learn the businesses. So that's in short
great.
about me. If you want anything specific, we can start discussing.
Yeah, it is very nice to have you here, and thank you once again for sparing your time with us. Without much delay, I request the MBA students, the ASBM, start with the questions.
Hi, sir. Great to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
Shall we start our questions, sir?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry, sir. My first question is, can you please tell me a few moments that triggered an unforgettable moments in your early life?
Okay. Yeah. So I saw the question here. See, let's again, it's more personal thing, right? Now, probably let's talk about something that's more useful to you. Okay. So in the sense, like, I would try to answer, but I will limit the answers, right? I want to focus more on what could help you, right? I want to hear questions like, what you can do, or what is that expected out of you, how you can improve yourself throughout your journey, and once you're graduated, what are the options available to you, or during graduations. Right?
Yeah, Balaji, as you mentioned that they are first year students. They try to ask something, put them into the scope of learning perspectives. Yeah,
absolutely.
That will be really
absolutely.
good. Yeah, please.
Absolutely. So, see, to answer to take this question, right? See, in a perspective where unforgettable, or something that surprised me, or I would say something that enhanced my vision and made me realize that whatever I know is very small, okay, was the very first hour in the United States. Okay, so as I told you, so I was brought up in Tamil Nadu, in one corner of Tamil Nadu, and Coimbatore and Chennai was the major cities that I had visited before that, and probably Hyderabad I visited, and Mumbai probably one time, right? So I landed in Chicago. So that's the very first country that I landed. When I landed in Chicago, I took a cab, which is called a taxi in India. So to go to my apartment. So on the way, I saw the Chicago skylines. See these gigantic features, like the how the buildings are adjacent to each other. How tall they are. Right, so that opened up my mind. Right, you will see something that's great for the very first time. That's something that you just can't explain in words. You have to go through it to realize the infrastructure, the way that things are coordinated here. See, the very first thing is you can drive without using honking, like they say, like, using honk or horn. You will see there are millions of vehicles on the road. You will not even hear one person using their horn. The discipline that these people that teach to us the very first day, all these things are more of a cultural shock, and it, from a other perspective, it expanded my viewpoint of things and how things can be achieved, even though you feel that, okay, it's not possible at all, but things can really be achieved if you put your focus into it.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. Myself, Madhumita.
Hello, Madhumita.
Yes, sir. Sir, a lot of things have been changed in the past 2 years of pandemic. So, how do you plan your typical day now, sir?
Okay. So yes, that's a very good question actually. So if you ask me, so as I told, right, so we were all management consultants, and I was always on the road for more than 8 years. And then when pandemic hit, at least from my personal perspective, I thought, okay, it's cool, I can work from home. But now it's more than 2 years since we have been working from home. I do visit clients, sometimes with like probably once in a quarter, or once in a month, depending on the client's ask. But planning a day during the pandemic was one of the toughest things that we had to do. So for a period of time, the way I had scheduled is, so morning I would go to my gym. Then my calls usually starts at like 8 a.m. in the morning. So I start talking to the offshore team or talking to the onshore team. Then my clients, so usually in the United States, the clients start working as early as 7 a.m. I work with people who start their day 5:30 a.m. Okay, so you have to basically adjust your timing depending on the client that you're working for. So client meetings after 9 a.m. or even before that, depending on the client's ask. Then I take a mandatory break, because as you are at home, you tend to sit a lot, right? You don't walk a lot, and also your opportunities of going outside is very less. So between 12 and 1, I take a mandatory break, a lunch break or whatever break you call it, go for a walk, then come back, continue the calls. Then so usually as a part of consulting firm, right? I have to meet my boss. So we call him a partner here. So which usually happens in the evening. We have calls around that. We strategize. And end of the day, I ensure that I at least learn something new, at least one small item, be it like professional or personal. It doesn't matter. You learn one item, and that's how you end the day. It is easier said than implemented. It takes will and practice and dedication to make this happen. So being organized is one of the trait that I'm telling you as an answer as a part of this question. So be organized, plan, always plan, stick to the plan.
Self-control, self-discipline.
Absolutely.
Be organized. Yeah. Thanks. Next.
Hi, sir. Hi, sir.
Hello. Hi, Shanmugam. How are you?
Shanmugam, sir. I'm happy to see you, sir. Thanks for accepting our invitation.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Sir, can I ask a question?
Sure. Go ahead.
Sir, can you share your leadership mantra?
So as you now that you are in the first year, right? So during your school days, middle school or high school, or even in college, like you would have worked with a lot of people, who basically is your teacher or your professor or your parents, right? Or say if you're a part of a team, cricket team or a football team, your leaders there, right? So these are all things, that's outside of a corporate culture, right? When it comes to corporate culture, especially, so there are two types of industries, right? So traditionally, the background of everyone who has done engineering, if you talk to someone from the 80s and the 90s, they'll say, oh, it's mechanical engineering, right? Is what engineering always meant. So the hierarchy and the leadership in the mechanical world is totally different. So if you talk to the kids who passed out, in 2000, in late 90s or 2000s or 2000s, you will see that most of them entered some sort of IT work, right? In a majority of Indian kids. So the hierarchy here is flat. So your leadership, that I'm telling you, is applicable only if you enter a IT corporate culture, right? Because I cannot comment on how the mechanical thing has changed, but in the IT world, my leadership mantra is being transparent. So when I mean transparent, so imagine, so you have information like to relate. So you have a water tank, right? So when you open the tap, the water flows through the tap non-stop, right? So consider that the water tap is the information, right? And the tap is the information flow, right? Who is the end user, right? People who are thirsty, meaning that it's a team. So my leadership being transparent, meaning you have to ensure that your team knows everything. As a leader, you set the goals correctly. You set the expectations to your team correctly. You tell them that this is what I am looking from you, and this is what I expect you to do, and this is the output I'm going to measure you against.
Thanks.
Right?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I haven't finished. Okay. So the way it works is, right, you are all future leaders. Okay. See, when you take up leadership positions, ensure that there is no ambiguity, right? So you will end up leading a lot of teams, and you have to be sure of what you are telling, right? So if you are not sure, if you do not know what you are doing, you can't expect your team to do the right thing, right? So you have to be a subject matter expert of what you are as a leader, and you convey that message properly. As I told you, right, the water flowing from the tank to the tap to the glass, right? That there should not be any obstructions. The information has to be transparent. It has to reach the people without any diversions. Okay, so people have to understand what you are asking them to do and what you're expecting them to do. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Welcome. Yes, hi.
Sir, as we all know that being a senior manager in a reputed organization, you have to face a lot of pressure and stress. Sir, I would like to ask you how do you handle your stressful day during your job?
So yeah, that is a very good question. So in the IT world or any work per se, right? So stress is part of your job. So when I say that, I don't want to generalize, right? So when does stress come into play? Okay, you look at the root cause. So when you do not have plans, right? When you're not organized, when as a leader, or in this case, right, as leader, I'm a senior manager, I'm responsible for the projects that I own, that I don't track the projects to the plan. So the outcome of that is stress. Say I'm really proactive, meaning that I am monitoring everything on a day-to-day basis. I ensure that everything stays on track. Absolutely, yes. That there won't be any stress, or there is no fear of missing a milestone. Okay, but what if, again, situations are not ideal, right? So yes, obviously there will be some stressful days where things may go out of whack. You don't get to control those things. So the way that I approach is I fall back to the basics. Whenever something like that happens, I think to understand why it happened and what caused it, and try to address the cause. So when I mean think, it's not like I just get out of the meeting room and then think and come back. Okay, all of this happens instantly, meaning that you have to stay sharp, right? So you might be in a high profile meeting with a client VP or a client CEO or a CIO, right? You may be asked some difficult questions that you're not prepared for. So as a part of consulting, you have to be prepared to answer. It doesn't come overnight. You have to develop that habit. So bottom line, when there is stress, try to understand what caused it, right? And what kind of a problem that is creating the stress, and always have a backup plan and stick to your plan. Be organized.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Hi, sir.
Hello, Kanan.
Sir, could you please share the future of the finance and banking sectors?
Okay. Yeah. So that was a very interesting question, right? So I did spend some time looking into it or thinking about it. So see, banking and insurance. Okay. See, these two are called as financial services, right? So you will end up in one of it, right? Depending on your interest. Okay, but banking and financials are the most common employers throughout the world, right? So these two industries went through massive understanding of the need during this pandemic, right? In the last 2 years, coming from India, right? We were always a cash country, right? We preferred paying cash to get something, right? So now the government is trying to do digital, but there has been a lot of pushback because people, right? They don't accept change. When you ask them to try something new, they will not try. You start it from your house, right? So going from cash to cashless society is a big deal. Okay, but in the pandemic era where no one can go to the office, you cannot go to the desk to do some work, right? So what that means is the need for modernizing your applications were the first priority asked. So if you have noticed, we are having this call in Zoom. Do any of you know what was used before Zoom? It was called as Skype, Microsoft
WebEx.
Skype.
Yeah.
Right? Skype, right? So the very first thing everybody noticed was Skype worked fine when 20 people logged or 20 people used it. But now, when millions of people started using Skype could not come up. It could not handle the load. It crashed. Like we'll be in a meeting like this, it would crash. So what was the change? Microsoft saw that and they introduced Microsoft Teams. That's something that came during pandemic only. It was not before that. Zoom became famous during pandemic only. So why I'm calling these examples, that is very relevant to you is the modernization of the applications or the enhancement of the existing applications to support the demand grew. That's where the financial services is at this point. So the other thing I talked about, cashless, right? So now people are all afraid, right? So previously in the United States, if you sneeze, people would say bless you. Today, if you sneeze, they'll run away. Okay, because of corona. Okay, so now think about a society that deals in cash. Okay, so you go to a store, you buy something, you buy a perfume, and you hand them 1,000 rupees note or 2,000 rupees note, right? They will think twice before getting that note. So what's the change, right? People are not willing to do it, so they have to basically use a card. The digitization and the digital enablement of the banking transaction increased by 74%. You would not believe. That's what happened. The society, whether we like it or not, is going towards cashless. Nobody wants to use cash. Okay. So what that means is you have to enhance your applications. Even if it's a petty shop or a hotel or a barber shop, anywhere, right? You need to have that reader that can process a credit card transaction or a debit card transaction, right? Which means that you are going towards a digital world. So here it was there before. They have come in the United States. They have even gone a step ahead of us. They have gone to touchless, meaning that you have to just show your card to the reader. You don't even swipe it, right? You can keep it in your hand, show it to the machine. It will take money from you. And Apple phones, right? They can store your card. You have to just show your phone. That's it. You'll take money from your card. So that thing has changed. That thing has changed, and it's coming. Then the other thing is, this is very specific to insurance. Okay, and the insurance, artificial intelligence has taken over. So meaning, so during the pandemic, how many of you drove? Right. See, here in the United States, without car, you cannot reach anywhere. You can talk to us offline to understand. Even if you have to go to buy a milk, right? You have to use a car to go buy a milk. You can't just walk to the store because the stores are not, small. You cannot open a small store like how you see in India here. It's all big stores, and they follow a lot of codes. Okay, I mean building codes and safety codes. So now, since you are in pandemic, you didn't drive, right? So here, car insurance is a very big deal, right? So as a part of property and casualty insurance, right? People have to get insurance, right? And if you don't have insurance, they can arrest you. The police can arrest you. It's such a big deal here. Okay. So now, if I am not using my car, where do I have to pay the premium, right? The high premiums. So now the insurance companies are introducing concepts called pay for the miles that you drive. So during pandemic, previously, I was tagged as a high risk person because I travel 4 days a week. I start from my home on Monday and come back on Thursday. And during the 4 days, I keep driving. Like I keep traveling. I fly, I drive, I take my clients, I keep doing that, right? I'm not a sit-at-home person. So my premiums were high. Now when I am not driving, why should I pay that much high premium, right? So the companies have come with that. Meaning, pay for what you know. Then the next thing is people being at home, right? See, if you have access to internet, what do you do? And if you have companies like Amazon, if you go through their website, you will end up purchasing something, right? There is not a single day that you cannot quote a single person who went to an Amazon website and has come out without purchasing anything. Now you keep buying, which means that you have a habit, right? So they track it. So artificial intelligence, right? So there's a concept called data and analytics. Okay, I want you guys to read what that is, okay, and how it impacts your daily life. Okay, so they consistently run this analytics. See today, so if you go to say Google Chrome or Microsoft Internet Explorer or Edge, go and say like I want dresses for Pongal, right? And you search like jeans and t-shirt, or salwar and kurtis, like whatever dress style is, then close it. Tomorrow when you go to the same browser, you would see recommendations coming from four shops that are closer to you. That means that they are reading the pattern. The companies are trying to understand what you're looking for, and they're trying to provide you options so that you will go and buy from them, right? So again, this is retail, but the same similar logic is applied for driving. So in the driving space, so in the phone, they have got so for example, I have Geico insurance. Geico is one of the insurance company like Tata AIG, right, in India. Okay. So in the driving app, they asked me to install a new option called Drive Easy. So what that does is, whenever I drive my car, it tracks how I drive, how I brake, how fast I'm going, where I am going. So based on that, they do some calculations and they either increase or decrease the premium for me depending on what I do. Meaning that these things are becoming very personal, right? This is not going to stop. This will keep increasing. Then the next thing, right, that you would have heard, work from home. Okay, during the pandemic, before the pandemic also work from home was there, but there were a lot of employers who are actually against it, because it was their ideology that people have to sit in a cubicle in a chair and they should be able to see them so that they can monitor that they're working. But Corona changed everything, right? So everybody's working from home now. The productivity is all-time high. So now they have started realizing, right? So as I told you, like in the financial services space, now the need for the utilities, like for example, high-speed internet, right? A very good chair to work, right? And a very good laptop that will enable or that will process that high-speed optic cable internet. And gadgets like this, right? No, I'm not using a wire, I'm using wireless, right? Because it's easy. Because if I'm on a call throughout the day, I don't want to be hooked on to my laptop, right? If I have a wire, it's basically going to hook to my laptop and I cannot move around. Now during a call, I can, if I feel like drinking water, I can get up, go drink water while I'm talking, come back and sit, right? So the reason why I'm calling this out is all this was okay, but not necessary items. But now they have all become necessary because you are from a background like you're going to take business management. This is how you look at a problem. See, there was a problem, and what these great minds did, they gave you a solution. Right? As you graduate or as you study your courses, this is how you need to start thinking. How can I bring a solution to a problem? Right? That is basically going to help your firm grow and how you can grow. Okay, so this is what I really wanted to convey to you folks, because again, this is going to be very, very helpful. Try to understand, okay, to do some Google search in your free time to understand, how the world was before pandemic and how the world is now during the pandemic and what has really changed and what industries thrived, right? So let's start. Start looking into it and try to make your business case or whatever project that you're going to do, right, around this. It'll be, you will be amazed with what you find, and and it also give you ideas into where you can focus your energy into. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So hopefully that was a lot, but I want you to take it slow and process.
Yes, sir.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning, Akash.
Reaching this position by crossing many hindrances, can you define success in your own words?
So, see, that's a very tricky question, right? So success, see, there are varying stages of what you perceive as success, right? So sometimes, see, during your early life, in school or, in colleges also, winning something means success, right? For example, so let's say very relevant to this topic, right? Say, so I do not know if the colleges do today. So when I was doing engineering, I used to do something called as paper presentation, meaning that you take a topic. So the colleges used to run symposiums. Okay, so they basically invite other colleges to come. So they'll say that hybrid cars, right? Electric cars is one of the topic, or neurosystems, artificial intelligence as a topic, right? So as students, what we do is we take a concept, for example, artificial intelligence. We do some research, we create some presentations, good presentations, and we go to the college and talk, right? So there will be multiple teams presenting. There is a very high chance that you will not be one of the 3 winners, right? And at that time, I was thinking that success was that winning one of those prizes. But what I didn't realize was the effort that I put in to do the search, to do the presentation, and my willingness to go in front of the people. Like stage fear is what they call, right? You should not be afraid to talk in front of 100 people, right? And you should not be afraid of taking questions from people. So those things came naturally, but the very first few paper presentations, I didn't win anything. I just went and presented. Me and my friend, we didn't win anything. But what we didn't realize is we were learning as a part of that process. That today, if I think about it, I look that as a success, right? So in Olympics, right? This is what they call an Olympics. Sometimes when you go through all this is when things will start to make meaning. Okay, see, Olympics motto is not winning; it's participating. Okay, so what they mean to do is, you will win one day, but keep trying is what it is, right? So success doesn't necessarily always mean that you have to win something. The effort that you put in, the analysis that you do to do a certain thing, right? And ultimately, there are certain things you have to succeed. For example, getting a job. If your family needs you to help, or if you want to grow further, you have to get a job. There it's not like attending 100 interviews means I'm trying, right? That's not how it is. So it varies. It's very subjective. Okay, it depends on what you're trying to do. But since you are students, you need to keep trying. You need to be curious. Okay, not anxious. You need to be curious, meaning that you have to start thinking. What I can do, why this is this way, why someone is doing something differently than how I imagine. Keep putting your thought around that, and eventually it will help you out in the long run and to become more successful, meaning that material benefits that we all run against, that will come to you naturally.
Thank you, sir.
So basically, as Balaji said, success is it's a journey, right? It's not like one incident you can define. Success is just completed.
Absolutely.
When you grow, it goes along with you. Yesterday, winning an award in a presentation was your success, and after that, getting a job in Chennai was your success. Then going abroad was another success. Then settling in abroad is another success. It's a continuous journey,
continuous journey.
Yeah. It's a journey. It's not an end point or destination, we call it. It's ongoing thing. How do you define on a particular moment your success? So you will have to start as a fresher now, as an MBA student. What is your next immediate success, and work towards that goal? Setting a goal, as Balaji said, immediately set your goal and work towards it, and keep evolving yourself further. And that will be a great, journey and process for your career. Thank you for bringing it all in detail, Mr. Balaji.
No worries, sir. I'm happy to.
Next questions, we can go.
Sir, your questions are, your answers are awesome, sir. That's give you a positive energy, sir. So,
absolutely.
My question right now: if you have a superpower, what would it be, and what do you want to change?
That's more fantasy type of questions. So if you ask me, right, if I had a superpower, probably, I would want to create something like Facebook or Google, right? These are all simple concepts, if you think, but they are all gigantic now. They are billion-dollar firms. They employ like hundreds of thousands of people throughout the world. They are changing the way that you live, right? So I want to have that kind of intelligence, at least to start with something, or think about something different than my routine life, and bring something that changes the way that people live positively.
So how do you make innovation possible on your day-to-day life, Balaji? Just curiosity, I wanted to know. As you are from the IT background, IT man, I wanted to say, how do you make your day, possible, bringing innovation to your day-to-day life?
So, so in our IT strategy work, right? So innovation. So see these concepts that I'm talking about. Right? For example, I'll tell you this thing, right? So in insurance, there is something called as a claim adjudication process. So in CNA, I was a part of the claims team. So so that time, smartphones were not this famous, right? I'm talking about 2004 and 5 time frame, right? So that's when the Nokia was very famous. iPhone's concept itself nobody thought about, right? So say when an accident happens, the insurance office, they would call an adjudicator who is close to the accident site. So they have to go in person, to look at the damages. Say, if two cars collided, they'll basically say, who was at fault, what had happened to that car, in all that thing. And then the applications that was processing that data was mainframes. I do not know if these kids even heard the term, because mainframes is only in banking now. So you have to key in data when it's not like as flashy as all these applications that you see today, right? For example, Amazon, right? This is a black screen. You go in and key data one by one. Like it will have like say 20 spots. That's where you can enter, and you have to enter in a certain format. Things are like that. So it was very, very time consuming. And see, if I'm a person who needs a car in the United States, it would take me like a week or two to get my car repaired, or even longer, depending on the time of the year you are in, right? And also, what happens is, after a month of adjudication, they would say that, okay, you are at fault, or the insurance company would deny the claim, which means that thousands of dollars of bills are on the insured. Okay. So now as the smartphones came, the concept called applications, the mobile app, right? See, previously it was all you had to go to a desktop and key in. The concept of mobile applications came. So the innovation, what I'm talking about is where when I was processing a claim, why the applications cannot be used to process a claim. Meaning, what does the adjudicator do? They go to the site, take photos from different angles, right? And help the company determine who was at fault and how much money they can pay, right? The innovation that was introduced here is, why can't the insured himself take those photos? Like, you direct them. You can, through the app, you can tell them, take photos from this angle and that angle, and let the adjudicator look at the photos and then adjudicate. That's one. Again, this is more on a enterprise level innovation. So on a day-to-day life innovation, right? In the work that we do, so when the the traditional IT is, so you have you basically have, again, this is more of a process innovation, not a technology innovation, right? So you have an offshore team that's working, and you have a client here, and you have a middle person here, like you have your onshore coordinator or someone. Okay, so the information goes from your client to the onshore coordinator to the offshore, and vice versa, right? So this was more time consuming. Information was getting lost, right? So then we realized, okay, yes, it's risky to expose your offshore junior team to the clients, but think about the bigger picture. Letting them interact with the client helped us improve our efficiency and productivity. because questions were directly asked to the client. There was no middle person. And that way we were able to improve our productivity by 20% more. And in the IT world, the bugs are the defects that they call. That's a nuisance or a hindrance to your productivity, because it's energy and the time that you have to spend all over again to solve a problem. So we saw a reduction in the defects or the bugs. It's a process innovation. Innovation need not be like, you invent something. It can be simple things that you can make it more efficient.
So process innovation is what every time you evolve, understanding
Absolutely.
the needs of your clients, understanding the
Clients,
needs of the
yes.
process, then
Yes.
you bring it efficiently, more and more efficiently, that
Correct.
optimizes your resources and brings productivity, higher productivity. Yeah?
Absolutely, yes. Because IT, information technology, is something that keeps evolving. You cannot see what you have seen is, if you do a business certain way for 20 or 30 years, you will be lost. You have to consistently upgrade your business.
It's like Nokia. I don't do anything wrong.
Correct,
I
yes.
don't know why I fail.
Yes,
Doing,
exactly. Yes, that's what it is.
So you didn't do anything. That's a problem. So yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
You should
They
keep
didn't think, right? So they thought having a small LCD screen or increasing the LCD screen was their solution. But Apple came and they just blew it away. And Nokia, which was very famous in 2000s and 90s, the company had to eventually shut down.
Thank you.
Sir, how do you translate the company goals into your team strategy, sir?
So absolutely. So any firm that you will work for, right? See, their ultimate goal is to increase their business. Say, for example, so if you are a $100 million company, the company's goal would be to make it $150 million company by the end of a fiscal year or financial year. Okay. So the way that we work is, we keep our, at least as an executive of my engagement, I keep talking to my clients. I am, to understand what their pain points are, identify areas where we can help them. And as far as my team is concerned, I convey the same thing, because the problems that comes from the C-level executives or the VPs, that's more of an enterprise level problem, right? So for the core systems that you support and implement, the problems associated with that comes from the people who are on the floor. When I mean on the floor, it's basically your client managers and project managers and program managers. So my managers who report to me, I ask them to keep their eyes and ears open. Try to hear what they are telling and what they are conveying as a pain point, and see if there is any way that we can help them as an opportunity. So for me, solving a client's problem means a business opportunity for me. I can get a new contract. I can give them a solution that will help their problem go away, or at least I can make their process very efficient, so they can be successful. So if I am able to sell that, then that means that I am adding that X dollars to my company's vision, that where they want to increase the business. So this is how it typically works in an IT world.
Basically, as you mentioned earlier, the flow, it has to go like water, flowing like a water tap. You have to make sure the communication flows from from the top management to the bottom, so that the communication clarity is very important when you wanted to have a team achievements.
Absolutely.
Next question.
Sir?
Can we make it fast, because it's getting 1 hour? I think Mr. Balaji might have some agenda for today. So
Okay,
it's
sir.
not take much time. Yeah.
Sir, what type of skills you expect from freshers?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good one. So see, as I told before, as freshers, keep an open mind. Okay. So when I say that, you have to remain curious as well. So open mind meaning, right? That I am a business management graduate, right? I will do only this kind of work. You should not limit yourself to that because you do not know what the future holds. Any of you can get into an IT or a mechanical world and be very successful there, right? So keep an open mind and always be curious. Ask a lot of questions. Be proactive. It's not shame. See, if you do not know something and if you ask a question, you will be a fool for 2 minutes. Okay, but once you learn it, you are not a fool anymore. If you don't ask that question, you will remain a fool for your entire life. You understand? So
yes, sir,
this is how it works.
Thanks.
You ask a lot of questions, learn, keep an open mind, be curious, and do not hesitate from learning, even if it is a small trivial thing. Okay, do not hesitate. Ask the questions, try to understand, try to absorb. Okay, all these things will help you during your early years.
Nothing is small in this world. Everything is important.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Can we have one more question? Last question.
Sir, what is the biggest challenge when it comes to people management?
Yes. So it's okay. So technology is not difficult, okay, but handling people is the most difficult part. Keeping everybody happy, right? Now, so you have a team of 100 people. You have to ensure that everyone deserves what they deserve and keeping them happy, right? Now you cannot be partial, meaning that okay, oh, this guy is from my country, right? Now I want to give everything to him, and this guy is from some other country or from some other place or some other language speaking guy. I'm not going to do this. Right? See, these kind of things, a lot of things will come into play. Okay, when you're managing people. Okay, so keeping everybody happy, right? Now, how do I do it? Right, that's the next question. That's automatically anyone would ask, right? So in my firm, so my firm gives me a set dollars, like meaning that some dollars that I can give as a token of appreciation to people who perform well, right? How I do it is based on the feedback that I get from managers and from my clients, right? And if someone is not doing well, okay, so for example, if you have a team of say 20 and then you have these two people who are not performing well, right? Criticizing them in front of others is a very bad leadership quality, right? So what you do is you have a one-on-one with them, try to explain to them, where they are lagging and what they can do to improve. Right? Everybody needs to improve, but they probably are a little slow in understanding or a little slow in accepting. Right? You educate them. So taking team for dinner or lunch, to make them feel appreciated. All these things will help the team feel that they are valued for their contribution and they are being taken care of. Okay, so this is how things will be done. When you become leaders, remember this, okay? When you become leaders, remember this to ensure that you have a team for you. If you don't do any of this, or if you are very partial in leading your team, you won't have a team.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, no worries.
That's fine, all of you. Or you have any one more question? Anything important to ask?
So I have a question.
Yes, proceed.
Sir, how do you prioritize your life being in this chief position?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
So how do you prioritize your life being in this chief position?
Prioritize my life or my work? What?
Prioritizing
work-life balance. Okay. So see, unfortunately, see, people, you would always, people would say, right, with work-life balance, you would see like companies saying focus on what if you join our firm, you will have a work-life balance and stuff. See, it's partially it's true and partially it's wrong, because see in an actual consultant's life, the work-life balance, I said, frankly speaking, it's not true. It's not apples to apples. It's always apples to oranges. See, when I travel for 4 days, I lose being with my daughter. I lose being with my wife. I lose that 4 days of my life, right? Which basically means that, I work for 4 days somewhere remote and come to my family for 3 days in a week. So you can see, if you can either choose to not do it. You can take like a full-time job locally. You can go in person 5 days, but end of the day, it is your interest, right? If you want to do something that interests you, that motivates you to wake up every day and go to office, or you want to be with your family, though you monetarily you don't make that much, but you can still spend time with family. It's a personal decision, I would say. Nobody is going to teach you, how to balance your work life. In my personal case, yes, I have lost a lot of my daughter's early life, her infant life or toddler life. But when I think about it now, yeah, I feel sorry for that. But what to do? That this is how life is. There are certain realities you have to accept.
So it's actually you are early to learn all these things. Like many of us, still we don't learn all these. Being in India, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So here, sir, it's just us, right? See, for example, myself and my wife, we are bringing our daughter together. It's more of my wife, not me. So she spends all her time and energy on my daughter. We don't have any support. There's nobody here, right? West India, you have a lot of people to support.
Yeah, of course, that is there. But still,
so,
father is father, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, yes, it is. I'm just telling things the experiences that you get when you're away from home, your comfort zone. It's so huge that you learn a lot of things very early in your life. And that's one thing that I want to tell you guys also. So you see, I do not know how many of you are in hostel or how many of you are day scholars. I am not sure. But at one point of time, you would have to leave your comfort zone. You have to face the realities, right? You having a roommate or not no roommates, or you have good friends or bad friends. People may cheat you. All those experiences will shape you. You have to be ready for that. You have to prep yourself for that. You will see that the life is not all the black and white that they show in cinemas. The reality is different. So this is where you talk to your professor. He is experienced. He has seen outside world. Talk to him. Mentally prepare yourself for all this. This is over and above your professional life.
That's great time we had. Yes, I think, can we conclude it here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can't disturb Mr. Balaji for longer time, okay? So he has other commitments. Just now only he mentioned he has to have some other priorities to go for the day, right? Saturday today, and we'll have some other time later we can meet up, all right? Like guys, first of all, that's a great occasion having you here, Mr. Balaji. We will keep in touch and we'll meet up soon here in Coimbatore or wherever possible. We will keep in touch through digital forms, and hopefully soon in 2022, if we can meet up sometimes. Yeah, it was a great
absolutely.
Yeah, and you have given like fairness, being fair at workplace, equality or diversity management at workplace, being systematic at workplace, and criticizing, or the other words we can call it, giving self-respect to people, socializing, appreciating, getting appreciated. All these are the key elements to manage people in a right platform, right way. That's a good lesson you have given in a nutshell in for one question. Continuous learning, prioritizing life and work is another important element. Being innovative, bringing continuous improvements to your process and efficiency that could make higher productivity. A lot of sharing within this 1 hour you brought in as a technical person, as an innovative leader. I could see you have that thrive of getting things done, making things work for your organization, and our best wishes to you. You have a long way to go in your career, and see as one of the key leaders in the world, which we will be happy to see us, and we'll be very much interested on that. And our best wishes and prayers for you Balaji, for your life and career. Thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you once again, Balaji.
Absolutely, sir. It was my pleasure. I really enjoy those questions. And, I'd be really happy to see all of you grow, mature into leaders. My best wishes.